and it was the storm like miraculously just passed us. Like there was all these weather warnings. At one point in time, the fight was supposed to start at 8 p.m. and at one point in time, one of the weather experts wanted us to start at 10:30.
Yeah, because they were 10:30 at night, which would have been a disaster. 10:30 at night would have been a disaster because it's a 6-hour show.
Yeah.
Or close to it, whatever it is. I guess 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. I guess it was 5 hours. But somehow or another, the storm just almost went around the White House. I mean, I don't know.
Mysteriously.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's science or if that's consciousness. I don't know what steered the storm or if it's just random luck. It could have been all of the above. But all my fears of the weather getting in the way of the fights were null. It didn't mean anything. And then there was this long sort of ceremonial thing where they had jets fly over and they played music and all this different stuff. So by the time we got to the actual fights, dark out, perfect. The weather was perfect. So that wasn't an issue at all. And it was just the magnitude of the event. I know people saw it on television and it looked insane, but the magnitude of the event being there live. So there's the event that's taking place on the lawn of the White House, and that has 4,000 plus people.
The main event.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the actual UFC. So there's a bunch of military guys that are standing up in the back. There's 1,000 of those, and there's 3,000 plus that are seated. All these people are seated. But then behind that, not that far, 100 yards, 200 yards, whatever it is. I guess it's more than that. Maybe 300 yards. There's the ellipse. The ellipse has 85,000 people
who
got in for free. Yeah, it's like in the whole White House ecosphere, whatever it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so this area, they have giant screens set up, and they have, huge speakers and sound. And so 85,000 fans are watching the fights live on the screens, and they can see the lights of this claw dome in the distance, and they can see the White House in the distance
where the fights are taking place, but they're watching it on massive screens with commentary. And it was insane, and you could hear them roar. So you hear the crowd from here, and then you hear 85,000 people, and it's fucking rah! You can hear it in the distance. It was insane. It was insane.
Just the magnitude of it was insane.
Unlike anything else you've ever done.
Beyond. I mean, I'm a hyperbolic individual, and I'm always like, this is the greatest, this is awesome. That was the wildest experience that I've ever had in my 20 whatever years of calling combat sports. There's nothing even close. Nothing even close. It was the greatest night of fights of all time. And it was the only night in the history of the sport where every single fight ended by a knockout.
Did they all?
Every single one. 7 fights. 7 fights. Every one of them ended by knockout.
Wow.
Which never happens.
Which is unprecedented.
Unprecedented. Wow. It was like the perfect experience for anybody that had never watched the UFC before to see it that way at the White House like that. I mean, it was nuts. A huge experience for the fans that got to be there in the ellipse. And I saw videos. These guys, they were having so much fun. It's like everyone's in there for free. You don't have to pay for the tickets. There's 85,000 people out there. They're all screaming and cheering, and the drinks are flowing. And it was wild. I mean, just absolutely wild.
What a 250th.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's a sport that was banned just, 15, 20 years ago or something?
20 plus years ago. So when I first started working for the UFC was in 1997. And back then, you had to watch it on DirecTV. I had DirecTV just because that was the only way to watch the UFC. That's why I didn't have cable. And then Zuffa purchased it. So the Fertitta brothers and Dana White, they started running it in 2001. And that's when I came aboard again. So I had quit in 98. I worked from 97 to 98.
And then I quit, and then they brought me back in 2001. And when that was going on, it was banned from cable. And they slowly started working it back. They got it on Fox Sports Net, which was the first time I ever commentated for the UFC. That was UFC 37 and a half, a very special show that they put on for Fox Sports Net, try to introduce people to the sport.
And so that was the first time it was on cable again. And then they started getting pay-per-view buys, and it started growing and gathering steam. But even back then, it was like you were doing porn or something, or snuff films, or you were doing something that was damaging for your career. And people would look at you like, why you're working for a cage fighting organization? Why would you do that? Cut to 25 years later,
On the
it's
White
on
House.
the lawn of the White House, and it is one of the most watched sporting events in the history of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know what the total overall views are as of now, but I know that it was like well over, I think it was 150 million just by Monday. Unbelievable. Just by Monday. So that's like the night of, and then people that watched the replay that weren't there when the fight took place because they heard about it. But now between then and now we're dealing with Tuesday. Like there's probably another 50 or 60 million people
Yeah.
have watched it. It's
And I bought
nuts.
Paramount Plus just to watch it on YouTube.
I'm sure.
I don't know, $13 or something that it was. But man, what a hell of an event.
Yeah, it was
Just-
an amazing event.
I wish I would have stayed up longer, but I watched the first few fights. It was fantastic.
The main event was the greatest fight of all time. It literally was the greatest fight of all time. Because the guy that won it, Justin Gaethje, was in many books 6-1 favorite, 6-1 underdog rather, which is crazy odds for a guy that was a interim lightweight champion, fought the best of the best, one of the best to ever do it, BMF champion. I mean, just super durable, real.
Dangerous guy. And that's how good Ilia Topuria is. That's how good Ilia Topuria is. Ilia Topuria, in many people's eyes, is the most skilled of the new generation, and the new generation is the most skilled of all time. And Ilia was like the top of the mountain. And most people thought that he was going to be too much, and he was.
Was too much for a while, and he almost took Justin out in the second round. And then Justin rallied, and then Ilia, it looked like he got really damaged in either the first or the second round, and he was having real trouble seeing out of one of his eyes. And then Justin started landing bombs in the third round. Ilia had slowed down quite a bit. It looked like he had really tried to finish Justin in the second. And sometimes when you try to finish a guy, you just hit the gas way too much, and you can't recover in between rounds. And Justin recovered, and Justin started battering Ilia in the third and fourth. And by the end of the fourth round, Ilia quit on his stool. He couldn't see out of either eye. He had gotten kneed into the body real bad when he was on the ground. Like Justin had him down with his two hands and just smashed a knee into his rib cage, and you could see him go like that. And that was the end of the round. And then he had to retire on his stool. I mean, like, you think he broke a rib? That probably could have happened, but I think maybe more significantly was the eye damage. Both of his eyes were swollen shut. His nose